Hello travel buddies! Today it's gonna be a very interesting topic for a lot of you because I got this question a lot of times. How much did I spend on my world trip? And I'm gonna do this video about the sums of all the expenses, then how I saved the money for it, and in the third section I'm gonna give you some tips and advices how you can save money for your big trip. First of all, the big question, how much did I spend on 9 months traveling around the globe in 14 countries? You have to know that including these 9 months, I did a 2 months internship in Bangkok at a foundation where I got a little bit money for accommodation and food, and a like 6-week volunteer service in Cambodia where also I got the accommodation and food. And of course I saved a lot by taking cheap hostels, doing couch surfing, sleeping in a van, etc. So we come to this big amount of 11,700 euros. First of all, it sounds really a lot, but if we look in the categories I prepared for this video, we can see that for transport, it means all transport by land. So if we're gonna have a look on the map, from Russia to China I used the Trans-Siberian train, and almost everything in Asia I did by land, so by bus or train. And then from Singapore and to Australia I had to fly, and of course to longer destinations like Hawaii, Canada, and then home from there. But of course I would have preferred going by land, but it's just like so exhausting and sometimes even much more expensive, and I was already, after 6 months, I was already so exhausted of all the impressions. And for this transport on land it was almost about 2,000 euros, and for flights I spent like 2,600 euros. So all this transport in total makes like a third of all my expenses, which is kind of, yeah, imaginable, I think. And then we come to accommodation, where I was really surprised that I only spent 1,500 euros for 9 months. I mean, if you imagine how much you spend in Germany or Europe for monthly rent, you come to this in 2 or 3 months. But probably it was because I always took cheap hostels, did couch surfing, and I visited some friends. Then food makes like a fourth of all the expenses, which is kind of okay because I love food and I'm okay with spending a little bit more on it, although I'm not so demanding. But I turned into a vegetarian, so sometimes that was even cheaper. Sometimes it was harder. And yeah, the other point is tours and souvenirs. So I have to admit that I kind of bought a lot of souvenirs. Like in every country I had to take something, and then you have at least 14 souvenirs, and of course you want to take something for your friends. So, and of course inside this category is also tours. For example, when I was in Mongolia with my mom, already this 1 week costed like 800 euros, or when we did the whale watching tour in Australia, it was $300. But I didn't want to like say no to things like that because it was the only time I did it, and yeah, it was a lifetime experience. And other things, things like presents for hosts, or when we had to repair our van. It's kind of small, but just to let you know. And now we come to the next category on how I financed this and how I saved my money. I worked every summer since high school, so I saved a lot of money by waitressing, doing extra jobs, or working at a TV channel. And so I saved up all that in 3 or 4 years, and besides that I had a scholarship for my studies, so I could take a little bit of that each month. And additionally, my mom saved me half of the sum in all my life, like in insurance. So if I think on other people, they get like a car, or they get a big sum in just shopping or doing a new apartment for them. So I just took this money for my adventure and for my world trip, and I think it was really worth it. Now we get to the section where I give you some advices, how you could save up a lot of money for your world trip. One first thing which I really always say, that I didn't do shopping a lot. Like the months before my travel, I didn't go shopping. I just used all the clothes I have. You don't always need something new, so. And then I was looking on things like eating outside. Like I preferred to always cook for myself because it's just cheaper. And just like drinks, partying, you should always look on it. I mean, if you have this goal, you can always say, hey, it's for a really cool thing in my life. I'm gonna save for that, and now I have to say no to other things. I mean, also with this big world trip, I always had to think about money, which was kind of exhausting. Why I also said to myself after 9 months, it's like, I'm not gonna travel that much again, because it's really exhausting to always look on the budget, to always calculate and think about, can I do that, can I do this? So for the next of my trips, I would prefer like 2-3 months, and then you can really relax and not think about the money all the time. But yeah, of course, that was also part of the adventure. Third tip, which I would give, like, living with your parents. You save a lot of money by that. And of course, looking on bills in the supermarket, looking for offers. So all these tips sounds like really small, and but it's a really big thing. I mean, if you look a little bit on your budget, how much you spend, and reduce a bit of shopping, you can really do it. And if you really have the wish, I'm really convinced that you can do everything. But I hope I could give you some of my positive advices and energy. And if you have questions, you can comment in the video, and you can always look on my blog and contact me through there. Thanks, and see you!